Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We're your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 26th of July.
I don't think
2019.
And I stop, Michelle. I'm actually seriously stopping. I'm breaking in because I don't think I've ever been more excited to do a show in a long time.
In a long time.
Candidate. I was asked.
Did he mention the firing of James Comey in your discussion with him?
Cannot remember.
Pardon?
Cannot remember. Don't believe so, but I'm not going to be specific.
You don't remember. But if he did, you could have been a fact witness as to the president's comments and state of mind on firing James Comey.
I suppose that's possible.
Yeah. So most prosecutors want to make sure there's no appearance of impropriety. But in your case, you hired a bunch of people that did not like the president. Let me ask you, when did you first learn of Peter Strzok's animus toward Donald Trump?
In the summer of 2017.
You didn't know before he was hired?
I'm sorry?
You didn't know before he was hired for your team?
Know what?
Peter Strzok hated Trump.
Okay.
You didn't know that before he was made part of your team. Is that what you're saying?
I did not know that.
All right. When did you first learn?
When he did find out, I acted swiftly to have him reassigned elsewhere in the FBI.
Well, there's some discussion about how swift that was. But when did you learn of the ongoing affair he was having with Lisa Page?
About the same time I learned from Strzok.
Did you ever order anybody to investigate the deletion of all of their texts off of their government phones?
Wow. What? Huh?
Okay, so this is by far one of the best things I've seen in a long time.
Now, it's very difficult to read quickly.
Do you want to try to bring up my Twitter so people can read it?
Yeah.
They need to read it in real time. So this is the same Hitler thing that everybody puts up for, and somebody did it right away with everything in this hearing. And I think you have enough information to get all of the jokes in here, and you're going to really enjoy it. As Michelle brings it up so you can see. Let's see. Before we're done.
Did you just say before we done?
Before we're done. Before we go to that, I'll play this one. Here's a supercut of everyone saying that Democrats had a really bad day with Robert Mueller.
Campaign conspired with the Russian government in its election interference activities.
At any time with the investigation, was your investigation curtailed or stopped or hindered?
No.
Was the ball advanced?
No. Impeachment's over.
Frankly, I think you've both been very kind. I think this has been a disaster for the Democrats, and I think it's been a disaster for the reputation of Robert Mueller.
Far from breathing life into the report, he kind of sucked the life out of the report. I thought he was boring. He seemed lost at times.
And there were times in the hearing when he was sharp as a tack. But we can't avoid the fact that there were times in the hearing that he was not. There were also times when it seemed like he was unfamiliar with parts of the investigation.
But ultimately, it didn't land where the Democrats said they were hoping, at least for part one on obstruction.
As they were using him for clarity, he'd somehow fog it up.
But he
It's supposed to be playing, Mom.
And so, look, on optics, this was a disaster.
But
After that, a series of questions and answers where at times it was halting and slow and painful.
when the name Lewandowski was mentioned, he didn't seem familiar with that. Now, I don't know if he couldn't hear or if actually he is not as well versed with this report as many of the people on this panel are right now.
Remember, House Judiciary Committee Democrats do believe they should start impeachment. The lack, if that's what Bob Mueller thought was needed to be done, he didn't do anything today to help advance that cause. If he believes that is where this should happen.
I don't think Nancy Pelosi is going to stand for her members, bring forth something that is going to obviously lose in the Senate, lose with the American public. And the problem with Mueller's testimony on this issue is that he had to carry the ball for them some way, whether he wanted to or not, at least by being a vigorous, strong, rock-solid prosecutor. And he looked like somebody who'd slowed a step or two, and perhaps as the Republicans are starting to put out there, maybe he wasn't even in control of all those angry Democrats. Maybe he's a figurehead, somebody from the past that they put there so they could do their dirty work.
Wow. can't believe the media actually had to tell the truth on that.
It
was so
Do you know
bad.
that I actually felt like I got a word from the Lord yesterday that it's over, the fake news. Like, they had a good run of it, of lying for 3 years.
Yeah.
And
they went all out. They went
not
full
reporting
steam,
the
right?
truth, right?
They went full steam. Like, they played it up. It's like they went out into the middle of the desert with a tank of gas, hoping that they could make it to the other side, and they didn't.
And so I think that they're going to have to start going back to real reporting. And that was because I had heard something. I was listening to the news. Our local 12 news, which is, I guess, CBS, was reporting on relevant issues. It was reporting on Epstein, and it was reporting on the death penalty being reinstated. And as I was listening, historically for the past 3 years, it's been very left-leaning, and they were
anti-Trump,
and they were having to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And I think that the game is up.
A little bit more neutral.
And I think they're going to have to find themselves coming back to the middle. And I think that even CNN is going to have to start like, okay, it didn't work. We tried it, but if we keep lying, then we're literally going to be buried. The people, viewers understand truth. They understand lies. And you will not have viewers anymore if you continue to lie to them.
That if they tried to spin that, the viewers would literally throw up and just be all done. Like, I'm never coming back. Because if they watched it, everybody knows the blah, 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 that's all, folks. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bumbling, fumbling mess. Whether he meant to do it or not, they had to admit to it. I'll play one more before you get to that, because this is backed by popular demand. 2 years of Russiagate covered in 2 minutes.
Today is a turning point. Today was historically bad for President Trump.
Today was a turning point.
A turning point.
We're at a turning point here.
The beginning of the end for the Trump presidency.
We have another bombshell.
Mike Pence might have to assume the office of the presidency.
Rumblings of the word impeachment.
Breaking news.
Another bombshell out of the White House.
I believe this is the beginning of the end.
I do too.
It's really the beginning of the end.
He may be feeling the walls closing in on him.
All the walls closing in on him.
The walls closing in on him.
Breaking news, a new bombshell.
One astrologer says this means the beginning of the end for President Donald Trump.
Trump will resign.
Trump is going to resign.
Is this the tipping point? I know we've said it over and over.
You think this is a tipping point?
And over and over.
This is a tipping point.
And over and over. Breaking news, President Trump off the rails.
There's a beginning of the end today.
The beginning of the end. Breaking news tonight, new bombshell.
This is the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
The walls are closing in.
The walls closing in.
The walls closing in.
Breaking overnight bombshell.
This is a very dramatic day, and I think it might be near a tipping point. Do you think this is a tipping point?
December 1st, 2017, you can mark it down. This is the day that everything changed.
The beginning of the end?
Beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end. The beginning of the...
We begin tonight with the bombshell. Donald Trump is in a lot of trouble.
Trump is in trouble.
The president will resign.
Another hour, another bombshell.
This is a tipping point.
Trump's going down.
This president could be impeached.
Resignation. I don't think this president is going to serve out his term.
Mr. Trump will not serve out his term.
He will not serve out his term.
No way. No how.
Breaking news.
Absolute bombs.
Donald Trump is not. He's done. And it's over.
It's over.
The walls closing in.
The walls closing in.
This is going to be the Achilles heel.
Breaking news tonight. I expect Trump to depart.
This week will be the watershed week.
Trump is in big trouble.
Trump's in a lot of trouble.
It's a sign of a terrified old man who feels the
walls
closing in. The walls
are increasingly
Closing in on him.
tonight. The walls
are closing in.
today changed everything. This is the beginning of the end.
Today, the biggest
Tipping point for the Trump administration.
What a historic day. The bombshells.
He's underwater. He feels the walls closing in.
Turning point.
We may be at a tipping point.
It's the beginning of
The end. The beginning.
of the end.
Another bombshell.
Bombshell. Bombshell. Bombshell.
Bombshell.
Bombshell.
Bombshell. This is a bombshell. It is a...
Guess what, guys? I'm going to tell you today it's the beginning of the end of fake news, and you can take that to the bank.
You know what? As I was watching that, I actually want to give a round of applause to the guys
only.
on
Cabinet
on Sunday. It's going to be an excellent show. So 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be here or be not here. Okay. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful, blessed Friday evening. Go read my article and share it. Good night, guys.
It's cold all alone. No place for home every day. So afraid, but you call my name.